Hello. I hope everyone can hear me. Thanks so much for joining my session on the customer success track. And hello to all the RevCon attendees across the world. My name is Ejieme Eromosele. I run customer success and account management for a company called Quiq, and I'm speaking with you 2 hours north of New York City. I'm also really passionate about diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in tech. As a Black woman in tech, it's not lost on me that my presence in rooms, now virtual rooms, carries a lot of weight. I've received dozens of cold LinkedIn outreach messages from young Black women who've told me, they said, it's amazing to see someone that looks like me in tech leadership, also in customer success leadership. Now I can see myself in this role. And that used to be something that made me feel really uncomfortable. It's just little old me. But now I feel responsible and I feel emboldened to make their experiences better and to make other people who may not look like me to make their experiences better as well and to have a better experience in tech overall. Like many industries, tech has faced its fair share of challenges with integrating more diversity and inclusion. Focusing on one dimension, I'm a Black woman, so focusing on Black talent, you could certainly argue that hiring biases exist, as well as a need for improved practices and programs centered around diversity, equity, and inclusion. While these and other factors have definitely stalled career advancement, I think for Black people in tech, the ultimate goal of making tech more reachable and more approachable as a career option for Black talent is a really great place to start. And honestly, beyond Black talent and across the many different dimensions of diversity, we can probably do better. We all know that customer success is a trending topic these days. And we all know that it's really important for SaaS companies. We also are already, I would say, at gender equity and gender parity, according to Gainsight, but we can probably do better. And there's other different dimensions of diversity that we should be considering. So my ultimate thesis and the hypothesis that I'm going to hopefully prove to you all today is, can customer success solve tech's diversity problem? Now, I don't think we can do it alone. And I don't think we can solve every last problem, but I do think that the customer success function is uniquely positioned to lead a broad scale transformation. And I have 4 reasons that I will share with you today on why. I'm going to start with the first. And the first is that customer success is one of the fastest growing areas in tech. Uh, as we all know, customer success is a trending topic these days, and for good reason. You know, as software and in particular SaaS companies are tech's new darling, and a growing and renewed focus on how to be top of mind in customer relationships, how to focus on customer and revenue retention and expansion. Customer-led growth is top of mind for every SaaS company and obviously for their investors as well. And the function can have an outsized impact. And that function is customer success. And therefore, it's no wonder that LinkedIn and several other, Indeed, I believe as well, has ranked customer success as one of the hottest emerging jobs. In 2020, LinkedIn ranked the customer success manager role number 6 in its list, right behind actually engineering and data science. And it was actually the first non-engineering or data science job that made the top 10. And we know that customer success managers are primarily within the tech space. So about 73% of customer success managers are in the software and IT industry. And my hope is that with the growth of customer success, that means that there will be a lot of new customer success managers. And the hope, and my bet actually, is that many of those will be new faces in tech altogether. And why is that? You know, I think that customer success is a great gateway. You can call it a great gateway drug into tech. It's a function that blends heart and head, but that doesn't necessarily require the tech skills and certifications that have traditionally been a barrier for non-traditional techies. And increasing diversity in customer success makes it more possible for people who never envisioned themselves in customer success in the first place. Um, I honestly was one of those people. I have an MBA. I worked in management consulting for many years. I'm ambitious. I'm always looking to learn and grow and improve my skills. But I never saw myself in tech. To be honest, the image of the tech bro culture that's obviously been portrayed in media got to me, and I didn't really see myself in that. I think the other thing that played a role was that I didn't personally know many mid to senior level Black people in tech, which meant that I couldn't back channel what their actual experiences were, and I couldn't understand if that culture was right for me. So I thought, honestly, maybe tech is not a good option for me. And I'm sure a lot of other people experience that. We see what tech looks like and what it is, and we say, I don't think I belong there. I don't see people that look like me. The second reason why I think customer success is really best suited to help solve tech diversity problem is that it can be an accelerated path to leadership. So the pipeline story, whatever side of that you're on, and I guess let me explain the pipeline story a little bit. So the pipeline story is that there's not enough good, diverse talent. And it's so often solely focused on the flow of individuals into tech. But there's also a pipeline opportunity about the advancement of those individuals into more senior and mid to senior management. So going back to me for a minute, I didn't work my way up in tech. I kind of started from the top. So when I decided that I was ready to pivot my career into tech, I got hired as a VP level. I was lucky. I'd already kind of worked hard through my career to cultivate transferable management skills and to really set myself up to take on a more senior leadership role. But we know that 52% of customer success managers directly advance into leadership roles. This is a source from Gainsight. And that LinkedIn also gave the customer success manager job a 9 out of 10 in its career advancement score. This, to me, means that customer success is a great pathway to leadership and well poised to help tech in its diversity problem. And we know that customer success has about 170% growth rate over the past few years. So there will continue to be a pool of newly minted customer success managers that are ready to hopefully reach more senior heights in tech. And why does reaching more senior heights in tech and in leadership matter? A pathway to diverse leadership can also impact the equity, inclusion, and belonging side of DEI in a few ways. The first is that diverse leaders will get paid more, hopefully in cash and in equity. And that is a material difference in the racial and gender pay gaps that we see in the US and the massive wealth inequality across just even racial lines. And a diverse set of leaders means hopefully that we'll have better and more inclusive decisions around the products and the companies that we're building. On the inclusion side, having more diverse CS leadership will hopefully also help us attract more diverse candidates. People looked at your leadership page or About Us page. Can they see themselves in your leaders? If not, are there other signals that can show that they belong? Things like more inclusive policies. I'm a hiring manager. I've interviewed candidates for roles at my company and on my team. And I've been told several times in the interview process, it still kind of shocks me a little bit when I hear it, but that it's refreshing to see me across the room and to see me as a leader in a company that actually makes people want to work for my company more, which is a great boost in terms of attracting great talent and also hopefully retaining them as well. The third item on why customer success can be a key player in helping us solve tech diversity problem. So the third is that customer success is often the external face of your brand and a key internal hub as well. So we hear this all the time. Representation matters. Making your customer success team more diverse will give you an outsized return on your investment, also for reasons that are more external to your organization. Your customers. We already talked about the leadership return, but there are other positive side effects with a more diverse team. Here's two. The first is that customer success teams, we're customer facing. We are often the face of your brand. Your CS managers and leaders meet with your customers and represent your brand and product every day. They're the ones building the most authentic and oftentimes the most intimate relationships with your customers. What company doesn't want to signal that they care about those people and actually building a diverse and equitable team? This point actually reminds me of a story that a newly minted CSM shared with me. As I mentioned, people reach out to me. I take every conversation if I can be helpful in any way, just in the way that people have been helpful to me in my career. And we were chatting, and she shared that most of her leadership team was older and white. She felt comfortable in that, but she felt that she needed to portray certain characteristics that were a little bit more homogenous to the team, even in terms of behavior. So they were often very serious in meetings. When they did kind of joke, a lot of their references were, maybe sports related, and or talking about spending time, being a parent. They had kids. She was a little bit more, I think, casual. She didn't watch sports, didn't really know anything about sports, and she didn't have kids. So she found it hard to connect with them. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with being more serious, talking about sports or talking about your children, but it was hard for her to find that connection. And when that team also talked to their customers, they also focused on those elements as well. So one day, while she was leading a customer meeting, well, it was her first time leading a customer meeting because the senior CS person couldn't make it, so she was left to her own devices. She said that she kind of quickly tried to think of a sports reference to kick things off, but she couldn't because she doesn't watch sports. And so instead, she focused on something that she knew. So she loved memes, and so she referenced the kind of the how it started, how it's going meme. I'm sure y'all are familiar with that. And so, yeah, it was kind of currently trending on social media platforms. This is a while ago. And so, she took the risk. She made the reference, and the customer took it well. The customer laughed out loud, actually, and thanked her for injecting the meeting with some humor. And it's great. And she actually shared, she said, it's great to see a bit of personality coming from the team. Who knew you guys were so funny? They then spent the next 10 minutes sharing their favorite internet memes. They apparently were both meme connoisseurs. And the thing that was highlighted to me about the story, and when she shared it to me, she said, I was afraid of being myself. I was afraid of letting my true self show because I felt like I had to portray a certain type of image to succeed in this role. And that really made me pause in my tracks because no, our customers are diverse. Our teams hopefully are diverse as well. We all bring different dimensions of diversity to the table, and that's actually our strength. And in that moment, when she was able to connect in that customer in that way, she saw that it was a strength, and she saw that she could still be successful while also being herself. The second reason why customer success has a kind of net positive side effect in terms of building diverse customer success teams is that customer success, I like to think of us as the nucleus of the tech organism and organization. We interface obviously with external customers and partners, but so much of our time is also spent with our cross-functional teams as well. So whether it's marketing, sales, product, ops, or engineering, we spend a lot of time with these other teams, hopefully influencing how we better market to, sell to, and the types of products that we're building. And it means that we can be highly influential in how we shape the rest of the organization. And I don't want that to get lost. We have the ability to show the rest of the teams what great equity, belonging, and inclusion means because we are so influential in that way. Okay, number 4. So last point on why customer success is best suited to help solve text diversity problem. And this goes back to something I mentioned earlier about why I was turned off to tech. Um, there is a tech bro stigma in tech, right? I think that that's probably going away, but it still maybe is rooted in a few folks' minds. And we don't have that in customer success. If you think about it, we're the new kid on the block. I like to say I did customer success when I was in management consulting, but as a function of tech in its present day and SaaS businesses, it is a little bit of a newer function. People still have to make the case for customer success. And so we're not the engineers, we're not the product people, we're not the B2B marketers. Love y'all, but we're not you guys. And we have the ability to sort of be a new breed and to set a new standard in how tech can be and can look and can operate. And I think as CS leaders, we shouldn't miss that opportunity because we have the responsibility to make our teams, our companies, and our industries better. You know, I, and I hope that we can actually take that forward. We don't have the stigma, we don't have the bad history of these other functions in tech. So I've spent a bit of time now convincing, hopefully, you that for these 4 reasons and probably others, I'd love to connect with folks after this and hear their thoughts on the additional reasons that customer success is well poised to help solve the text diversity problem. And I think there are a few things that I'd like to leave everyone with in terms of things that they can perhaps get started with today. So, I think one, taking a page from our own customer success playbooks. I spend all of my days talking to our customers about being outcomes focused, not focusing on the vanity metrics, focusing on the things that really hit the bottom line. So I'd be remiss to leave you all today without some actionable takeaways. And I think the first is, to raise your own personal awareness. So thank you for attending this session. That's one way to raise your own personal awareness. I think, understanding our own blind spots and our own biases, I think, can be huge. I personally know I have mine. I try to work on it. I try to understand seeing the world from someone else's perspective and someone else's point of view, very much how we coach our teams as well to see things from our customers' perspective. So, join organizations that can help you see things from a different perspective. I'll share a few at the end here, but that's, I would say, action number 1. The second is to be accountable. Honestly, take a look at your organization, your individual organization within customer success. What's going well? What could be better? There's an opportunity for us, hopefully, to be empowered to take more action, but it starts with recognizing what's currently happening and knowing what role you play in that, what role your teams play in that. If you're a leader, we have the opportunity to really set the tone and to set the stage here. So it starts with knowing that we can and having some accountability there. And then lastly, not being afraid to talk about it. So, I think diversity, equity, and inclusion, belonging, they're all buzzwords, but they have real life implications, some of which I covered today. And if we assume that things are great, if we assume that just because we're not talking about it, they're not issues, that's our fault and that's a problem. So I think not being afraid to talk about it, not being afraid to ask questions and to be curious and, thinking positive intent. These are all kind of, I think, simple ways that we can all get started and simple ways that we can all elevate customer success and DE&I customer success. One of the things I'm working on in terms of raising people's awareness is a platform called Success in Black. And it's a platform for Black professionals in customer success specifically. As I mentioned, people reach out to me on LinkedIn quite often. I meet with tons of Black professionals in customer success just naturally. And it felt like we didn't have a place to meet and a place to share stories, to share insights, and to share opportunities. So I decided to start one. We were just getting started, still kind of forming the team and forming the pillars of things that we want to do. But there are kind of three specific areas that we're developing programs around. The first is early career. So, as I mentioned, customer success is a great gateway into tech. Not a lot of people know about it. Even someone like me, when I started to explore a tech journey, I discovered customer success. How do we make that discovery process easier? How do we get folks that are in highly customer facing roles today, things like customer support and service teams, things like being a front facing retail person? These are all good kind of foundations in terms of the competencies that you can leverage to make yourself a great candidate for an entry level role in customer success. So we really want to develop some programs around early career options for people who, again, like me, didn't think tech was an option for them. The second is mid-career. So, a lot of people are, ICs, they're doing the hard work, they're doing the things that they need to do for their customers and their teams. How do we give them an opportunity to learn how to grow specific competencies in customer success so that we can create a path for them to senior leadership? And then lastly, at the leadership level, how do we start to empower our leaders with more skills and more resources to be even better leaders and to create a platform for themselves and their teams as well? So, as I said, we're just getting started, but really excited to kind of share more of what we're doing and share our vision with teams that are customer success focused, and with organizations that are customer success focused, and teams that want to do more for Black professionals in their org. So if you're interested, please reach out. We're happy to collaborate and happy to share more. And that's all I had for my presentation. Hopefully follow me on LinkedIn. I have a little QR code here that you can use to follow Success in Black on LinkedIn. And yeah, looking to collaborate and to hear more feedback on this idea that customer success can be one of tech's solutions to the DE&I agenda.